Federal data shows between 15 and 20,000 young people exit the foster care system nationally each year without adoption, a legal guardian, or reunification with their biological families. In D.C., 18% of foster care youth age out of the system without that support. That's twice the rate of the national average.
It's going to be very, very effective and just a very positive impact on D.C.
Like KK, nearly all of the youth advocates we interviewed will have aged out of the foster care system before the SOUL Act can be made law. This is about making the system better for those who will come after them.
It's called SOUL, so basically it's youth-driven.
KK says as much as she loves kids, she doesn't want children of her own. It would be too hard to raise them in this world. But she does have a niece and 2 nephews who she says she hopes to give a better childhood than her own.
It's hard being an aunt, showing up for people, you know, and you still trying to show up for yourself. But I'm gonna do my best to be that influence to them for sure, because I want them to have that. I didn't have it, I want them to have it. They are my kids. I love them down.
Big thanks to Alex for that report. Coming up, we are one-on-one with Lin-Manuel Miranda, the musical force behind Hamilton's now helping to bring Moana to life. How he made his craft a family affair and the superstar he might have to outshine on Oscar night. We'll be right back.
Craig is insufferable. Do not invite Craig to your party. Mr. knows everything about every car ever made. Did you ask? Doesn't matter. He'll tell you. But on Bring a Trailer, this brain on wheels is exactly what you need to obsess, bid, and win. Have a question? Trust Craig. He's insufferable. It's never just a car. Bring a Trailer.
Naomi loves the sound of earning and saving money on Vinted. Don't wear it, sell it.
Before we found Skyscanner, searching for travel deals got a little crazy.
I'm comparing travel sites on the phone tree.
Brilliant. Skyscanner searches all our favorite travel sites with one simple search.
It's crazy, but in a good way.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creative force behind Hamilton, and the record-breaking soundtrack to Encanto, is now the mastermind behind one of Disney's most beloved movies. The new Moana is hitting the big screen in a whole new way. Lin-Manuel sat down with Lindsay Davis to talk all about it. Take a look.
My wife and my kids are the beta testers of everything I write before.
They're the focus group.
Yeah, and my wife's superpower is that she's a logic monster. She just asks the logical question. She said, did they repeat that? But it's the reason Hamilton moves as fast as it does. It's because I'm trying to keep my wife entertained. Like, the songs, she has to like them before they leave the drafts folder. And now it's my kids. You know, they were humming We Don't Talk About Bruno years before anybody else.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno.
All right, let's start with Moana.
Sure.
So I found that the live action is even more intimate than when you have an animated movie.
Yeah.
What aspect of this would you say that you're most looking forward to audiences experience?
Then we hit the lottery. We found Catherine, who has to sing these songs and voice this character, but has to learn to sail the ocean and has to learn how to do fight choreography.
What do you think it is about adults and kids alike that just people connect to it?
I don't know. I mean, it's thrilling to me that it is a beloved franchise. I think to see Pacific Island culture represented in such a beautiful and authentic way means a lot to folks. I know a lot of parents for whom, like, Moana's a 90-minute babysitter. Oh, yeah. I think there's something about silencing the world enough to hear your inner voice that is really universal, that speaks to people beyond age, beyond where in the world they come from, of like cultivating that inner instinct that tells you who you are and what you're supposed to be.
I think that Moana's greatest strength is not that she's fearless, but that despite her fear, she persists. Is there some aspect of that that personally resonates with you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm someone who has been on stage a lot of times, and the feeling in my stomach is still the feeling when I was backstage at Hunter in first grade for the elementary school talent show. It doesn't go away. And I think of fear as rocket fuel. It's sort of like, depending on where you put it in your ship, it could blow up your ship, or you could like go flying.
You grew up watching Disney. I'm told that it was The Little Mermaid that actually inspired you to become a songwriter.
I grew up with all the classic films getting reissued on VHS, right? Like the bubble collections of Snow White and Cinderella, and then here comes Jamaican Sebastian the Crab singing a contemporary Caribbean number. Under the sea, under the sea, since life is real, we got to be here naturally. And I remember feeling weightless. I remember the hair on the back of my neck standing up and thinking like, this is allowed.
You are one Oscar away from having the PGOT. Is that something you pay attention to? Or are you actively pursuing, like, gotta get that Oscar?
No, it gets in your head when everyone talks about it. And like in real life, when you're sitting at your piano, all you really are thinking about is, what does this character want to say? The Oscar race is really fun. I'm really grateful for those experiences I've had. But when I'm at my piano, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, what Moana needs to say.
Reasons why Moana is beloved all over the world is the music.
Well, as you may have heard, there is already some Oscar buzz, potentially for Along the Way, and you would be potentially head-to-head with Taylor Swift's I Knew It, I Knew You.
It's a beautiful song.
It is. Both are. Both of you actually get celebrated for the story telling in your songwriting. Do you see any comparisons at all between the way that you and Taylor Swift write music?
I mean, I'm a big fan of her songwriting. That's always where I'd like the focus to be, is on the writing itself. I've gotten to work with a lot of incredible songwriters. But yeah, Taylor's in a class of her own.
What can I say except you're welcome? I'm sailing away, away, you're welcome.
You, at one point, before all of this, substitute teacher for 7th grade.
That's right.
Wrote jingles for ads, restaurant critic. Did you have have a favorite between all of those diverse jobs?
Context and analysis. The news never stops, and neither do we. Keep it right here.
Streaming every day.
Only on Disney Plus.
Hey, I'm Micah Jacci. Here are some top headlines we're watching at ABC News Live at this hour. The Pentagon announcing the first American combat deaths since President Trump declared the ceasefire was over earlier this month. The service member deaths are also the first since the earliest days of the war. According to CENTCOM, missiles killed 2 service members stationed at a base in Jordan. Another service member is still missing and several others were injured. U.S. forces retaliated swiftly with a round of strikes designed to disrupt Iran's ability to control oil tanker traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. This is now the 9th straight day of attacks in the escalating conflict with Iran, with no ceasefire in sight. Now to another round of severe weather threatening parts of the U.S. This comes after yesterday's severe storms slammed the Northeast, bringing down trees and causing dangerous flooding, as well as more than 1,000 flight cancellations. Now we're tracking a new storm threat for parts of the South. Meteorologist Leslie Lopez joins us with the latest.
Ike, we're also monitoring flooding that is out towards areas from Texas to New Mexico, all the way out towards areas of Arizona. Elevated flash flood risk off of monsoonal moisture that is moving through the area. In addition to that, we saw some heat builds over into the Midwest and also down through the plains and the South. So we have heat advisory setting up for today. This is going to be a heat index of 101 degrees for Kansas City, Missouri. It does look like it's going to be a hot one today. We are also noticing not only heat advisories, but there is an extreme heat watch for Wichita, Kansas. Heat index as high as 110 degrees. So again, very hot temperatures settling into a large portion of the middle of our country. And as we're looking at some of these feels like temperatures, some of the hottest places, Jackson 107 down through New Orleans, 109 degrees is a feel like temperature, and 102 out towards Daytona Beach. It is going to stay very warm and also wet and humid over into the south. There is a disturbance that'll be moving through the area, potentially turning into a low pressure center, so we're going to watch out for that. But as much as 2 to 4 inches of rain through Tallahassee, and then that'll move out to 1 to 2 inches of rain closer to New Orleans. Over to you, Ike.
All right, Leslie Lopez, thank you. And we're counting down to today's World Cup final. Here's a look outside MetLife Stadium, right here in New Jersey, where fans are arriving to watch Spain take on Argentina for the title. Defending champion Argentina, well, they're hoping 39-year-old legend Messi will lead them to a win over Spain. They've become just the third team in history to repeat as World Cup champions and the first team to do it since Brazil in the 1960s. Based on the scoring alone, Argentina has the edge, scoring 19 goals in this World Cup compared to Spain's 13. But Spain's defense has only allowed a single goal in this World Cup, and they're coming in with a historic 37-game win streak. I'm Mike Ajachi. Thanks for streaming with us. The news never stops. You can find us anywhere you stream live news, and if you're on the go, we're on the ABC News app and abcnews.com too. And up next, John Carl hosts This Week. He speaks with Energy Secretary Chris Wright about rising gas prices amid those escalating attacks between the U.S. and Iran. He also talks to Democratic Senator Mark Warner to respond to President Trump's election speech on Thursday. This Week starts right now.
Breaking news overnight, the war in Iran takes a dark turn with the first U.S. combat deaths in 4 months. This week starts right now. Major escalation. Stunning video circulating online appears to show the strikes that killed 2 American service members in Jordan, with another still missing. And as the conflict escalates in the Middle East, concern about rising energy prices here at home. When will it end? How will Trump retaliate? His energy secretary joins us live. The 2020 election obsession.
If there can be no trust, there can be no greatness.
Even some Republicans are saying it's time for Trump to move on.
We have 109 days until the midterm elections, and I don't understand talking about what happened 6 years ago.
We should be talking about what matters to the people around the kitchen table.
We'll talk to Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee. And a comedy star wins a big honor.
It seems like it's like the Nobel Prize for comedy.
There's not many for this particular brand of show business, so I was very grateful.
We'll go inside Bill Maher's podcast studio to talk to him about his relationship with President Trump and the state of American politics.
Could you see yourself voting for J.D. Vance?
Yes. If this is the Democratic side, yes.
From ABC News, it's This Week. Here now, Jonathan Carl.
Good morning. Welcome to This Week. We want to get right to that sad news out of the Middle East. The first American combat deaths since the opening days of the war more than 4 months ago. 2 U.S. service members were killed at a base in Jordan. Another one is missing, and several more were injured. Overnight, U.S. forces responded with another round of airstrikes on Iran. So let's get right to senior White House correspondent Rachel Scott. Rachel, what are you learning this morning?
Yeah, John, well, this is the first time that U.S. soldiers have been killed in this conflict since that agreement between the U.S. and Iran fell apart weeks ago. We learned this morning that those 2 U.S. service members were killed after Iran bombarded a military base in Jordan where U.S. forces had been stationed. And as you mentioned, one remains missing at this hour. This video circulating from the base on the day of that attack. 4 other service members were injured and taken to hospitals in Jordan. They have since been discharged. So far, 16 American troops have died in this war with Iran. 427 U.S. troops have been wounded so far. The president just weeks ago was optimistic about an end to the war, but the U.S. struck Iran once again overnight. And he said just a few days ago, Iran wanted to make a deal, but it is clear these diplomatic talks have severely stalled. And now 140 days into this war, there's no end in sight.
The video of that attack is alarming. How is the president reacting?
Well, President Trump called the deaths a shame. He called it very sad. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the loss of U.S. soldiers only stiffens our resolve. But the question now for the president is how much does this change the strategy ahead, especially after he promised this conflict would be brief. He campaigned on keeping America out of foreign wars, but does this lead now to a much wider conflict, John?
All right, our thanks to Rachel. Energy Secretary Chris Wright joins us now. Secretary Wright, thank you for being here. We saw U.S. forces struck Iran for the 8th night in a row last night. Is the president planning any further retaliation for the killing of those 2 U.S. service members?
Yeah, the president's mission is essential for peace in the Middle East and peace in the
world, and that is to prevent Iran from achieving nuclear weapons and to degrade their ability to terrorize their neighbors and the world and global commerce. So yes, this mission will go on until the mission is done.
But I'm asking you, where does he plan retaliation for the killing of those U.S. service members?
It's tragic to lose American lives, but this is a mission that will save countless lives going forward. His focus is on degrading the Iranian ability to terrorize the world, to hold world commerce hostage as they are doing right now, and to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons. That is unchanged.
You were on the show back in March, and I want to play something of what you said about how long this war would last.
I think that this conflict will certainly come to the end in the next few weeks. Could be sooner than that.
So you said it would certainly come to an end within a few weeks. We are now nearly 5 months into this war. How does it end? When does it end?
Well, the plan, we needed 4 to 6 weeks for military actions. They went for 5.5 weeks. We did a pause to try to get an agreement with the Iranian people to allow oil to flow without them attacking it. They've proven unwilling to do that, and we've pivoted. Now what we're doing is assuring that oil and gas and other products can flow through the Strait of Hormuz with or without Iranian cooperation. And we've continued to degrade their offensive military capabilities. The president is always looking for the diplomatic off-ramp. President Trump wants to end it with a peaceful agreement with Iran, but it takes two parties to do that. If they're ready to do that, that's the way it'll end. If not, we will continue to assure flow of traffic through the strait without Iran's cooperation.
But we're not seeing flow now, right? I mean, hasn't flow of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz effectively stopped over the past few days?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I get the data on that every day. The 7-day trailing average right now is just under 7 million barrels a day flowing through the waterway, and just under 7 million barrels a day additional flow through the bypass pipelines. So we're at a little under 14 million barrels a day from the Arabian Gulf region. That's 2/3 of pre-conflict traffic, dramatically up from where we were back in March when I was last on your show. I mean, not 100% yet, but 2/3 of flow right now.
And that's over the past few days? When's that average? Well, we saw the numbers from Thursday were simply eight ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. That's far below.
So almost all the public data I've seen is incorrect. There's flow through two routes through the Strait of Hormuz. There's up near the Iranian islands that's flow complicit with Iran, but that's not nothing. And then there's flow through the southern route that's protected by American infrastructure. And we count the volume of oil that goes through. The ship numbers are down more dramatically, but of course we're flowing larger tankers now to keep the world markets as well supplied as we can. Gasoline prices today are more than $1 a gallon cheaper than they were 4 years ago under the Biden administration. And we'll do everything we can to drive them further down in the weeks and months ahead.
And we've seen over the past week the price of oil go up, the price of gas go up. The Iranian IRGC is now saying that if the U.S. strikes continue, they will go to what they are calling full-scale assault and annihilation and try to smash infrastructure, specifically energy infrastructure, in the region. What are they capable of doing, and what are the implications for the price of oil and the price of gas?
Well, clearly, as we've seen, decades of focusing their entire economy